Good day once again. So welcome to the part 6 of our discussion on making data flow diagram. So in this video, this is a continuation of what we have answered in the last video. So in the last video, we have completed the level 0 or the context diagram of this scenario. So now, since I have done the diagram using the click chart, let me just remind you that when you make a diagram, there should only be one type of diagram in every page. So like for example, you've done with the level 0, so this level 0 has to be saved and it has to be put only in one page. So how to save this one? For now, it is untitled. So to save it, okay, go to menu and then file and then save as. So if it is your first time to save, go to save as and go to the specific location where you want to save. So for example, here I will save in documents. So you put here the file name that you want. So for example, I put here level 0. You notice that the save as type class is .ccd. So it means click chart, okay, diagram. So when you save it, okay, it is now in .ccd. So the file name is level 0 now. Suppose you are not finished with making the diagram, so you really have to go to this software. You have to launch this software first, because if you directly open it where you saved it, so for example this one, this is now the file. When I open it, it will create a message telling that file is already opened or the file cannot be opened. So you have to make sure, see here, unable to open. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are in the click chart itself, and when you want to open it, you can click it, or you can go to file and then open. So when you open it, just click that file, and then when you finish clicking open, then it will come like this, and then you can continue. Then you can save afterwards. Okay, so level 0 is finished and done. So we will now do the level 1. So I will just add new tab, create new blank page here, or I just click new, okay, for a new page. Okay, so I just click this one. So I am given now an empty working area. So we will now do the level 1. Now in doing the level 1, we have to make sure that all the symbols are complete. At the same time, okay, you have to know that it will now be in detailed. So the processes that you have to show in the level 1 will now be detailed. So all the processes that you have here, suppose in this scenario we have P1, P2, P3, P4. Okay, all these 4 processes must be clearly presented in your level 1, including all external entities, the data flow, and the data store. Okay, so let's begin. So actually, creating the level 1 is, I think, more easier than the level 0, as I think, okay, because you just have to go through line by line, because the statements here are actually stated in details. So you just have to follow line by line and come up or convert these things here into a diagram. So suppose here we started with the first external entity, teacher. Teacher gives assignment details. So this teacher, what is the symbol for that? Okay, so external, okay, entity. So you have here, double click. So you have now teacher. Okay, so teacher. Okay, so the teacher is what? Okay, the teacher is giving. So the teacher gives. So this describes that the teacher is actually giving an input. Okay, so gives the assignment details. So since this is not a process, rather than, okay, a keyword telling that there is a flow of this data going to that particular direction, so that would be, okay, equivalent or represented with an arrow, okay, a connector. Okay, so you have here now. Okay, so I have here now, okay, give. Give what? So the name of data okay, the flow of data is based on the data that you have that is mentioned here. So, gives assignment details. So, assignment details is actually the name of the data flow. Okay, so you put here, okay, assignment. So, this is now the representation of this statement here, class. Okay, so the teacher gives assignment details and releases. So, releases is our process number 1. So, the symbol, okay, for process is this, okay, using the gain and sarson. So, we will put here P1, okay, so process 1, and then the name of the process is releases the verb. But you have to complete it, okay, you have to put releases assignment. Okay, if you could not complete the verb, adjective, noun format, then you could just put verb and noun format. Okay, so as you see here now in the diagram, we have now the teacher gives assignment details and releases the assignment to whom? To the student. So, to the is a direction, a flow where the data will go. So, to the, you can put here to the, then to this external entity to student. Okay, so we have converted the statement now, okay, into this diagram. The teacher gives assignment detail and releases the assignment to the student. So what is given to the student? What is released to the student? Okay, the assignment details. So we will put here, okay, as the data flow, okay, assignment details. So we will just make it smaller. Okay, so we have now completed one line, okay, from the statement. Now, to continue, it says here that, okay, student answers the assignment. So, this external entity 2 performs process 2. So, since this is our external entity 2, and then it will perform the process 2, so we will just connect, okay, this, okay, process 2 from this external entity 2. So you have now, okay, for process number 2, the student answers, okay. Okay, so the student answers the assignment. So the name of the process is answers assignment. So I have here now process number 2, okay, 2 answers assignment. Then the assignment with answer details, okay, with answer details saved in the notebook temporarily. Okay, where does the answer details come from? So the student is the one who answers the assignment with this data flow or data coming from the student. Okay, so here it goes, class. The student is giving input to this process 2. So, the incoming data flow to process 2 is answer details coming from the student. So, as you notice in our level 0, the student is giving input to the system answer details. So, it is happening actually in process number 2 here. Okay, while look at here, the teacher gives assignment details and releases it to the student. Assignment details becomes output to the student. So as you see in the level 0, the student received the assignment details. At which particular process the student receives assignment details, it is found now in level 1 in process 1. Okay? So it really has a connection, no? In each level of DFD. So to continue, these answer details are saved in the notebook. Okay, so notebook is a DS1. So this is our, okay, symbol data store. So I can just put it here down, or you can put it here, no problem, or also here. Okay. Okay, so you have now here class, okay, and this answer details is saved in the notebook. So this answer details is saved in the notebook. So look at the arrowhead pointing to the data store. Okay, so next, after the student prepares, the next process is prepares. Now since it is still the external entity 2 who does the process 3, and the one who do the process 2 is also the external entity 2, so you can just connect it here directly, the process. No need to repeat the external entity, nor no need to connect this next process to the external entity. It is understood since the one who does the process 2 is the student, so he or she is also the one who do the process 3, prepares. So the student prepares. Okay, so the student answers the assignment to the input coming from the student, the answer details, and this answer details is saved in the notebook. After, the student, okay, prepares the answered assignment paper. In this manner, we need to connect process 2 to process 3. So the output of process 2 will become input to process number 3. Okay, so in preparing the answered assignment paper, okay, we need to have these answer details, right? Okay. Okay, so just a hint, class, that if you need to connect one process to another process, and then it is not given in the scenario what is the required input or output from each of the processes, then it is understood that the output of this last process will become an input to the next process. So just like here, the output is answer details, and it's not given here what is the input to the next process, so we will carry over it here. Okay. Next is, okay, answered assignment. Okay, prepares the answered assignment paper and submit it to the external entity 1 and submit the answer, the data flow. Okay, we have the data flow answered assignment paper. So we submit it to the teacher. The teacher is here, so no need to repeat drawing the teacher. If you can connect it, then you can just put the arrow. Okay, since the space is small, class, so I am finding way how to connect it, right? So in this example, this arrow, I use this one, okay? The orthogonal connector, so that it will bend, not a straight arrow. Okay, so the answered assignment paper is submitted to the teacher. Okay, so from the process 3, okay, prepares answered assignment paper. So the output of process 3 is the answered assignment paper as it's stated in the scenario. Prepares the answered assignment paper and submit this answered assignment paper to the teacher. Now the teacher, the external entity 1, checks the submitted paper. So check is the process 4. Okay, so as you can see here now, class, process 4 is checks a submitted paper. So who checks the submitted paper? It is the external entity 1 who checks the submitted paper, and he gives mark on each. So this is the external entity 1. So the external entity 1 checks the submitted paper, and then he gives the mark. Okay, so as you see here, teacher checks the submitted paper and gives the mark. So input mark coming from the teacher as it is stated here, and updates it in the class record. Update is like you are adding something in this data store too. Okay, so teacher checks the submitted paper and gives mark on each and updates it in the class record. Teacher checks submitted paper and gives the mark and updates it in the class record. And finally, gives the mark assignment to the student. So this data is given to the student. So since student is very far and we have to avoid crossing the line, so anyway, we can repeat drawing the external entity. So we will just add here, okay, the external entity for student. Okay, so finally, class, we have completed the scenario. So this is now the level 1, okay, with the final output, mark assignment to the student. So as you can see in the level 0, the student received the